Good morning again, grade 1. How are you today? It's Mrs. Stoltz. Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2020, 4-8-20. And my very first thing is, did you notice on the devotion a mistake that I had on the board? If you didn't see it, maybe go back and check, see if you can figure it out. There is a math mistake on the board in my devotion. See if you can find it. And when you send in your pictures of your work today, you could send me a little message and say, oh, Mrs. Stolt, this is what you did wrong. Maybe I'll even give you an extra point on your math. How about that? All right, for today for math, we're going to be talking about fractional parts of a group. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about our oddball facts. And you have a fact practice page again on lesson 117. So if you want to get that, we'll go through a few of those today. And then a few reminders for Mrs. Strand. Your word workbook page is 56 and 57. Your backpack page is 27. And then you should be doing your practice page today. Finish the third reading of, is it Skippy's New Friend? Okay, I'm sorry, I don't remember the title right now. But that little library book that you were reading, and then make sure that you've done the practice page for that. And then look for her message today in her email to tell you what to do next on your writing assignment, okay? All right, so if you need to pause the video and go and get your math binder and a pencil, go ahead and I'll meet you at my other screen. Hello, we're back. All right. Yep, you see some food over here. That's how we're going to practice our fractional parts to start out with. But first of all, let's practice some oddball facts. How did you do on your time test yesterday? Is it getting easier? Well, one of the things you have to do to make it easier is practice. So let's look again. Which one should we start with today? Hey, this one doesn't match. This isn't one we've done for a long time. We know that. 6 plus 2 is 8. Let's find a different one here. We practiced these two a lot writing them yesterday, didn't we? 4 plus 8 is 12. You got it. Find any other ones. 8 plus 4 is 12. There's a 4 plus 8 is 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. What about that 8 plus 3? We did that yesterday. 8 plus 3 is 11. You got it. 3 plus 8 is 11. 8 plus 3 is 11. 3 plus 8 is 11. And the two we're going to look at today, 8 plus 5. And if you look down here, oh, it gave you the answer. What? 8 plus 5 is 13. You have the answer right on your page. That's ridiculous. 8 plus 5 is 13. And what does that mean? We can switch them around in our switcheroo and have this be part of our fact family. 5 plus 8 is also 13. 8 plus 5 is 13. And another 5 plus 8 is 13. And our last one, 8 plus 6 is 14. So we know that 6 plus 8 is also going to be 14. Where's that guy in this row? Here it is. 8 plus 6 is 14. Right below it, 6 plus 8 is 14. Let's be a detective and find it in the last row. Aha, there it is. 8 plus 6 is 14. And then you remember how to do the bottom, right? Let's do these two together. And then you can do the back side on your own and send me a picture of it. So we look and say 8 plus 5 equals 13. We write and say 8 plus 5 equals, and I know yesterday I forgot to have you trace that, but trace that equal sign, equals 13. 8 plus 5 equals 13. And again, 8 plus 5 equals 13. Do you think you can do it? Let's cover it up and try. 8 plus 5 equals 13. We did it. Check and make sure we got them all right. All right, let's practice our 8 plus 6 equals 14. Ready? 8 plus 6 equals 14. 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 All right, are you ready? Cover everything up. 8 plus 6 equals 14. We got it. All right, super. So obviously finish the top part, and then on the back, you've got practicing 4 more times, okay? All right, and then when you're finished, send a picture of this one in for me, okay? All right, now let's talk about fractional parts of a group. A fractional part means that you take an item and you divide it into equal pieces. Well, today I am missing you so much because this would have been a day where we would have been doing some eating. We would have been eating 6 different vegetables and seeing which ones we like and which ones we don't like and making a graph about that. So the things we're going to look at today are a cherry tomato, a green bean, a mushroom, a celery, cucumber, and a carrot. And my poor carrot got snapped in two. Oops, he's already in half. Now, when you're doing a fractional part, you want all of your pieces to be as much the same as possible. Now, what's a little bit tricky when you're using vegetables like this, real live vegetables, is sometimes they aren't always the same diameter, the same amount around. Like you can see this side is bigger and this side is smaller. But what we're going to look at is each cut that we make, trying to make each cut be the same, okay? And I'm going to scooch a couple of these to the side. And the first one that we're going to try is our tomato. Now, the tomato that I got is a grape tomato. And so a grape tomato is more of an oval. Oh, no, my grape tomato ran away. Well, we won't be eating that guy unless we rinse it. So we're going to cut our tomato in half. Now, in my opinion, if I cut it in half here, that's pretty close, but I don't want to be pretty close. I want to be as accurate as I can. Notice how this end is more pointy and this end is more flat. So on a grape tomato, we're going to cut it the long way to make it be as close as I can in half. All right. So here we have our 2 halves. 2 halves of our tomato, okay? 2 halves. We'll set that guy aside. And next we have our green bean. Our green bean we're going to cut into 3 equal parts, as equal as we can. So I'm going to take a look right about there and right about there. What do you think? That looks pretty close. Let's give it a try. 1 cut right there. I'm going to use this guy to help me measure. And 1 about there, and I think, oh, we did pretty good. This guy's a little bit longer, isn't it? But we did our best to cut it into 3 equal parts, okay? 3 equal parts. Next, we have our mushroom. Our mushroom we're going to cut into 4 equal parts. The top of the mushroom is kind of like a circle, isn't it? Okay? And if you were at school, we would be having paper plates, and each of you would get a piece of tomato and a piece of green bean. Now I cut it in half. When I'm going to do something in fourth, I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of mushroom. All right. Next, let's do the carrot. Now remember, my carrot broke. I'm sorry, carrot. I don't know how I did it, but when I was carrying it, it snapped. And it was almost exactly in half. Isn't that funny? So I had to snip a little bit off of this end. This end was a little bit longer to make it be as even as I could. And our carrot, we're going to try to cut into 6 equal pieces. So here's my half. All right. Eyeball it up here. Oh, this guy's a little bit tougher to cut. 1 there. And again, I realize that each one is a little bit thicker than the other, but we're looking for how long our cut is the one that we're trying to look at. And right there. All right. So 6 pieces, cut in 6 pieces. All right, here's a long guy. I think I'm going to have to move some of my vegetables to the side a little bit here. Don't lose my green bean, so we can do him the long way. It's my celery stalk. Okay. Do you like to have ants on a log? Oh, that's one of my favorite treats. In fact, yesterday I made them to have with our supper. So this one we're going to cut into 8 equal pieces. So I'm going to first cut it in half. Now I have 2. Then I'm going to cut it again in half at each spot. Now I have 4. And now I'm going to cut each of those in half. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now how many do we have all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal pieces, okay? 8 equal pieces. And our last one is a little cucumber, okay? And our cucumber we're going to cut into 10 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a 9th cut makes us have 10 pieces. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pieces. So on your paper, they will sometimes give you a picture or a drawing that they made and pretend that it's one of these vegetables. So they might say divide, or here's a green bean and it would be divided into 3 pieces. And they would say color 2 of the 3 pieces. Okay, so 1 you would leave blank, you would color 2 in. Or they might say color 1/2 of the tomato. So you would color 1/2 would be colored, the other half would be blank. Oh, I wish you were here. What we would do with our taste test, maybe you want to do a taste test at home. So we had mushrooms, carrots, celery, cucumber, tomatoes, and green beans. And what you had to do is decide not which one you liked the best, but did you like it? When you tasted a carrot, and I don't mean lick it, you had to take a bite, chew it, and swallow it. When you tasted a piece of celery, did you like it? If you did, you put it in your envelope that it was something you liked. If you didn't like it, then you would not put that little tag in your envelope. All right. If you do a taste test at home of these items, you could send me a note and tell me which ones you like and which ones you don't. And by the way, it doesn't count if you know that you already liked it from before or that you know you didn't like it from before. You have to taste it again. I know. Now we'll need a little bit of information to make a graph, and I might have to just do a pretend graph with this to help you out. We'll see how that works out. Sometimes they'll have a graph on your page as well, but that's for another lesson, okay? So I'm going to set this aside and bring out a slip of paper to give you an example of what you might see on your math. Okay, so let me bring my paper here. See if my camera can grab that and make you see it. Okay, so here's my tomato. My tomato was more of an oval, so I divided it in half that way. Your tomato, they might show it being more like a cherry tomato, more round. And so what if they say color half of this tomato? So you would color 1/2. And that shows 1 of 2 parts are colored. Okay. What about on the green bean? So the green bean is divided into 3 parts. So let's color 2 of that green bean. And when we're coloring parts and they ask us to do more than one, we don't really make a pattern or anything. We don't skip around. We just continue right like we're making a train, okay? So this one would be 2 of 3 are colored, okay? On our carrot, Maybe they're going to ask us to color 2 again. So on this one, we colored our 2, and we start at the left-hand side. And there are sometimes blanks for you to fill in. 2 of how many total parts are there? 2 of 6 are colored in. For our celery stalk, let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on this one, we had how many colored in? 5 colored in of how many total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 of 8 are colored in. Let's do 1 of our mushroom. So what's colored in of our mushroom? 1 piece is colored in of how many total pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 of 4 are colored. And our last one, our cucumber man. Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. Color that guy in a little bit better. And so how many did we color in? We colored in 3 of, how many are there all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 of 10. Okay, so you'll see things more like this on your math page, that you might have to color a certain amount in and then fill in blanks to tell how many out of the total pieces are colored in. Alrighty, back to me. Hello, here I am again. All right, so there you have it. I hope you've been writing your letters to your nursing home residents. Remember, you had two to write for this week, and then pop them in the envelope and send them off to the nursing home that you had for this week. So just 2 letters for you. Remember to do your work for Mrs. Strand and send her pictures of the things that she needs. You have your fact practice of the Oddball Facts to practice for Mrs. Stolt, and send me a picture of the back of that. Lesson 117, I'll need a picture of that, and then I think we're doing well. Remember to read those books on Epic, and after you've watched my DT3 videos, and see if you can figure out who was in the video as well, and have fun exploring with that. And remember to take the AR tests on those too, okay? Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your Holy Week, and happy Easter. Love you much.